Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Alright, so what we did yesterday is we created this knife. Alright, if you guys missed that video, please look for the Tactical Unit Rescue Knife by Three River Blades. This knife is in stock currently. Like I said, I have about 10 or 15 left. Once they go, they go. So if I don't have any more and you waited too long, then you waited too long. I'm sorry. Couple different options you can get with this knife. You can either have it subdued like you see here, you can get it in satin, you can change the handle material color and the sheath material color. That's about it. Alright, everything else is staying the same. I do not do custom orders. Whatever's on the website is what I have. Okay. What we're going to do today is make the Kydex sheath. I will say that there are a couple options when it comes to Kydex sheath. Most of the time when you receive your knife, you're gonna receive it in this configuration. Now this happens to be one of the models that I use to show around so people know what knife it is, and it's completely filthy and dirty because it's been in the dust. But you'll have holes corresponding to the type of belt attachment that you need. If you require a Molle Lock, it will be this hard blade tech Molle Lock as you see here. I have the long ones and I have the short ones. I think this is about 5-inch, and then there's also like a 3-inch, okay, depending on what you need. Every sheath I make will have to correspond with the belt attachment, so it's very important that if you are going to buy a knife and want a specific attachment, I need to know that, and you need to purchase them from the website. So on the website you'll fill out your the knife that you want, the specifics that you want, you know, subdued, not subdued, this type of handle material, etc., etc. Then you go into the accessories page and you'll purchase one of these or whatever attachment you like. So the Molle Locks are for people that want to use it on a tactical vest or plate carrier. I have large tech locks available for those that want to put it on, let's say, a battle belt or just a regular belt, that kind of thing. This will work from 2 inches all the way up to 3 inches. It actually has a bar in here. It's not shown here, but I do have a bar that comes with every single one that you can adjust it around your belt, clip it in, and lock it in. Alright, it's a very, very secure, and they call these Blade Tech from Tech Locks. I buy the good ones, not the cheap ones. I also have the minis, or the small Tech Locks. These Tech Locks are pretty good to go. I would not recommended for this large knife, but for smaller knives it works pretty good. You're only getting an inch and 1.5 on this. That's all you're getting. That's the only way you can fit that in there. It's kind of tiny. All right. Inside the waistband options I do have. I don't recommend it for this large knife, but if you had a smaller knife and you wanted to carry it inside the waistband, you can. I have these. All right. Whereas you would attach it sort of like a gun. Okay. You could attach it like this, and these clips work inside the waistband, and you slip this inside your waistband and you have the ability to pull this out. Okay. And straps. Straps are the last ones. Like I said, if you wanted to do some type of cross draw, small at the back, that kind of thing, either straps will work or we could use the universal belt clips. Alright. And just to give you an example how it would work, again, not on this large knife, but other knives, it would work something like this, and the holes would correspond to the Kydex itself, and then you would clip it onto your belt, and then you could have some type of cross draw or something like that. And again, with the straps, I could either try to go all the way around, so you can have it like that, or if you want it inside the waistband, something along the lines of that. Okay. So those are the options that you have available to you. If you don't see it on a website, just shoot me a reply to that order, or in the notes section just tell me what type of attachments you need or which ones you're looking for. This way going forward I know, and I could make the sheath, because like I said, the sheath is going to correspond directly to the belt equipment that I'm going to put on there. Okay, you can't change it once I start it. Alright, so if you're just going with belts, then you're just going to use a Tech Lock, and that's going to be it. Now there is something in there for a no option. So if you do not want a Tech Lock or any belt attachment, then you don't add one to the cart, and I'm just gonna by default set it up for the large tech lock. That's all I'm gonna do. Alright, I'm gonna drill the holes, you're gonna receive this in the mail, and there's not gonna be any belt attachments. Alright, but by default I'm gonna put the holes for the large tech lock. Alright, just so at a later date if you needed to buy one, you now have a way. Some people also use paracord. Some people I've seen actually use Velcro. So they want to put this inside of a bag or inside of a vest, and they just attach Velcro to it, stick it in there, and then they're good to go. Alright, so that's completely up to you. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prepare this knife for a sheath. Now with this sheath, this Kydex sheath, I can't do a fold over because it has an integral guard. So I'm going to have to do a pancake style. Alright, and what I do is I just use blue painter's tape. Cover it once. Alright. Go all the way to the top. And then I'll give it a second one. 2 pieces. That's kind of the way I like to do it. 2 pieces seems to be about the right thickness. It won't scratch your knife. Alright. Then I'm going to use my razor knife and just simply cut off the excess. Alright, don't scratch your knife now that you've created some beautiful piece of art. And I will note that the way that Kydex works is it attaches not to the blade itself, but it attaches to the handle. Alright, so this captures up here, as you can see in this one. See how it's connected to the handle up here? That's the strength of the Kydex. Alright, if it does not have an attached to the handle, it's just going to fall out. Alright, so you want to make sure that's good to go. And then I'll just take, let's see if I got my scissors. Cut this back off. Just make sure it's nice and down. Alright. So the way I'm going to make this work is I'm just going to go big, and then this way, as long as I have enough of the material, as long as I have enough here, then I want to make sure that I have enough on each side, and then I have to make 2 of them exactly the same, and then I have enough to play with. Alright, I'll bring you in a little closer so I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so I'm just going to find the edge right here. The edge is right here. Alright, I kind of want a couple inches on each side just to make sure that I have enough to play with. Alright, I'm right-handed, but because the camera's here, I'm going to do it lefty. Just score the Kydex. That's it. Alright, get that out of the way. Doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line. I'm just trying to get it. Alright. And then again, make 2 pieces. I'm going to cut and mold this anyway, so the lines do not have to be perfectly straight. You just want to make sure you have enough on each side in order to mold it and in order to attach the tech lock systems. This customer wants the large tech lock, so that's the one we're going to use for today. Those are the holes that are going to ultimately be drilled. Alright, so I got 2 pieces, and as you can see, all I'm going to do is I'm going to make something like this, heat up the Kydex, put it right on top, and then I'm going to squish it. That's all I'm going to do. Alright? Alright, so this is my press. This is handmade. I made this myself. I used 2 pieces of 3/8 ply, sandwiched them together on the back. It has some regular door hinges, heavy duty. On the top, I think this is 1x2, alright, just to give it like a little bit of a shelf, as you can see on top there. And what that does is, when I put the C-clamps on there, it won't slip off. And then on the bottom, it has 1x4s. And again, the reason I have this is so the clamps can hold it down. You can buy them from knife kits. This is 2 feet by 1 foot. All right, I built it myself because if I wanted to do larger projects, it makes it a lot easier for me to do so. The rubber pieces themselves is closed cellular foam. I buy it from knife kits again, or holster maker or whatever, and it comes in this large sheet, and then I just cut it down to size. Now eventually your stuff will start to deteriorate after you use it for a long time. Like this is my 1 foot press, and as you can see, it kind of gets beat up a little bit scrapes, a little bit cuts, that kind of thing. Alternately, people, what they have used is this foam right here is the stuff that you use for cushions for furniture. Okay, you can buy these in very large sheets and it will work. The problem is it falls apart very easily. Okay, whereas this stuff will last a little bit longer. This stuff is a lot cheaper. All right, to each his own, you decide. Either way it works. What I have to do is I have to heat up my hot plate. I use a hot plate in order to heat up the Kydex. I don't use any type of temperature gauges or anything like that. I just kind of know when it's really, like, see how solid it is? It'll get really flimsy and really soft, and then I know I'll get good definition out of it. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to heat up the rubber, and I'm also going to heat up the knife. All right, you don't want to put hot on cold, and cold you won't get a good press. All right, so as my heater's heating up as my hot plate's heating up, I'm going to heat all this stuff up, and then once it's all good to go, I'm going to just sandwich it all together and then cinch it down. Now there's a lot of people that are going to ask me, why don't you just use this? Well, you can. If you wanted to heat up 2 pieces of Kydex and everything else here, you can just use 1 heat gun. However, it's going to take you a lot longer, and it's not going to be as evenly heated. Some people also use toaster ovens. That's fine. You just have to get that Kydex evenly heated all the way around, and you only have a couple minutes to work with it until it starts hardening up. As soon as it starts hardening up, it's just not going to press right, and then you're going to have to reheat it and repress it, and it's going to look kind of funky. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to put on my gloves because I'm going to be handling hot Kydex. I already turned on my heating tray, and it's getting warm, so I'll put this to the side and we'll just start heating this up. Alright, so as you can see now, that hard piece of Kydex is no longer an issue. I'm just going to put my knife in there, all like that. Put this other floppy piece nice and soft. There you go, right on top. Put this on top of that. Put this on top of that without moving it all too much. You don't want to move it at all. I just want it nice and cinched, and then sandwich it in. That's all we're doing. Again, like I said, you don't have to use this press. There are book presses. I think I've mentioned that before. If you're looking for a press, I don't have a vacuum sealer. Some people use vacuum tables. Like if you're making for their, if you guys watch my channel, you know I make holsters as well for gun holsters out of Kydex. It's the same way I'm doing here, it's the same way I'm doing there. The only difference is I'm using a gun mold as opposed to an actual knife. And if you want, you can go to Three River Kydex, not Three River Blades, and check out if you want any type of, I have tourniquet cards up there. I also have holsters, inside, outside the waistband, that kind of stuff. Mag pouches, if you're interested, go to Three River Kydex. I'll put all the links down below. You decide what you want, what you like. Please make sure you go to Three River Blades if you're interested in this knife, because like I said, I don't have that many and I don't know when I'll get them back in stock, if I get them back in stock. So Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this here, and then I'm going to come back in about 10 minutes. It should be cool by then, and it should take the form. The thing I should mention is that if it doesn't, or the form is kind of messed up, you got to do this all over again. So, you know, be aware you try to get it right the first time. Alright, let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. The easiest way to take these C-clamps off is just to use a small hammer and break the lock. Okay, it's the easiest way I found to use it. Get them off. Okay, having some nice definition in there. You can see that, nice definition. That's kind of what you want. You could use a little compressed air or whatever just to cool this off, because it is a little bit warm. You want to maintain or keep its rigidity. So what I usually do is just kind of want to leave it where it is, let it cool off, take this thing out of here, reset my bench up, and then start doing marks. Alright, so now that I got what I wanted some type of good definition. As you can see there, it is sandwiched together. It's not going anywhere, not coming out, that kind of thing. Like I said, most of the grip on Kydex works around the handle, not around the blade. That's why we put a little bit of tape there, just to give it a little bit of space, not a lot of space. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start marking things with my pencil. I want to make sure that I have enough space from the guard. I don't want to be too close to the guard. I want to be kind of just under it. And what I'll do is I'll kind of make my marks sort of like that, and then I could readjust it as necessary. Alright, and then what I'll do also is I'll use my square, because what I want to do is make sure that the holes on the left side look like the holes on the right side. Kind of makes sense, right? Otherwise you have some weird kind of thing going on there. Alright. And then since I want this to be multi, I want it to be left side or right side. You could use it either way you like, or you can even put it in a scout carry if you wanted to. All the holes on the tech lock match up exactly the same, the way they're spaced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes on this side, then I'm going to drill holes on this side, try to be on the lines that I already put on there. Come on. There you go. Try to make them as straight as possible. And then all I do is I kind of put like a reference point down at the bottom, because you're going to want some type of rigidity down here. You can add a fourth hole if you like, if that's what you want to do, because sometimes if you want to carry it real low, and I don't know why you would want to, but if you wanted to carry it real low you could. And then all I do is just add another hole. Okay, some of them want to do that. Alright, if you wanted to add, I know guys also, they put like a little lanyard hole down at the bottom. So if you wanted to add a little hole down at the bottom, so if you want to do a leg strap, that's typically where you would do it. So I would square this off. Alright. Make sure I got a nice square, even thing. And then I would put holes on the bottom. Alright, and what that does is it allows it, if I wanted to add some cordage or something at the bottom for a leg strap, you can do that now. Alright, and again, it depends on what you're making and what the person wants it for. The holes that are here are pretty similar to the ones that look like on this knife as well. So let me go over there and start drilling holes. So the bit that I'm using here is specifically designed for Kydex. It's not, you could use a regular standard drill bit, but I find these are better. They're made specifically for, it's like a, let's see if you can see it right there. Alright, it has that little tip right there. It's made specifically for this application. So you could also put a hole in there like a punch and just punch it just so your Kydex does not walk away from it. Kind of what it looks like. Big mess. So this is where I'm putting the grommets in. Again, knife kits. Alright, you get these little rivets. Make sure that all the rivet heads look exactly the same as you put them in. You don't want one on the other side, one on this side. It looks all kind of weird and flip-flop and it just looks terrible. So we're not trying to do that. What we're trying to do is make this as neat as possible. Someone's going to ask me where I got this. I got this on Amazon. This is a grommet press, golden cutting sewing supply. I don't know who makes it, but you can find these on Amazon. This is for like if you were in a clothing factory or something like that, and you had to do a lot of grommets instead of just using the hand file. The hand method. This kind of works out a lot. So that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to have to cut a lot of this away. So let's do that. Okay. So I just drew a couple of guidelines and then I'm going to use the bandsaw to cut this off. You could also use a razor knife. That's completely up to you. And then I'm going to use the grinder to grind off the edges. Again, when you do grinding, make sure you use the sharpest or newer belt first. You don't want to melt the Kydex. You want to burn it off or sand it off. If you use the belts that are too worn out, you wind up melting it and you wind up getting plastic buildup in between your Kydex sheets, which makes a big mess. So. Alright, so now that I got it to its rough shape, alright, I will let you know that with this type of knife, because it has a integral guard, it's very difficult to do a fold over sheet, so you have to do a pancake, but I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like. Okay, fits, alright, no rattle, it's not coming out in any way. Alright, nice little, it's in there, clicks. So now what we have to do is we have to burnish or shine up the sides. Alright, what I tend to do is I start off with my little Dremel. Again, do not put this thing on full blast. If you put it all the way up, what's going to happen is you're going to wind up burning your plastic. So this happens to have a speed on it, which I like. Nice easy speed. Don't put this sucker on 10. You'll burn a hole right through all the project, all the stuff that you just made. Alright, and then I use a little bit of Black Magic. This Black Magic is it's a clay or a rouge. Alright, and what you do is just put a little on there. Lower the speed. And you don't want to do too much, you just want to bring around the sides. Now, I did use 220 grit. A little more speed on there. I used 220 grit all the way on the sides just to get the scratches to be uniform. And what I'm doing now is I'm just cleaning up, trying to get everything to look the same. Alright, so this is kind of what you want. You can see this nice sheen right here. Alright, it takes a little bit to get to. It's not easy. Just don't drive your Kydex too hard into the wheels, because then you'll burn it. You'll start taking material off. You're just looking for a nice little sheen. And then what you're going to do from here is I use warm soapy water. I used to say hot, don't use hot, use warm soapy water to clean out any of the debris. For the life of the Kydex, that's all you're going to do is warm soapy water, or as an alternate you can use Simply Green. Simply Green is not a harsh detergent and it'll work fine. Don't use any type of acetone or I don't know, diesel fuel or any of that weird stuff, because you'll destroy the Kydex. Also, anything that has to do with Kydex, if you use hot things on Kydex, such as hot water or leave it in the sun, or if you live in Arizona or on a desert, it might deform the Kydex. Alright, so you want to be aware of that. If it's just warm out, it's a tropical area, wherever you have this knife, no big deal. But you don't want to leave it in direct sunlight. You don't want to leave it on a dash of your car or in your glove box where it gets 1,000 degrees, because then the Kydex will loosen up. Alright, so let me go wash this up and then we'll finish with the hardware. Alright guys, so just to give you an idea, it's very simple. Everything else that goes on the sheath. The sheath is complete. It has all the edges nice and burnished, which is what I like. Nice clear color. All the holes are pre-drilled. The only thing I'm going to do is attach the tech lock. I do have a tech lock, a brand new one with the bar in it. There might be one or two, depending on who you buy from. Chicago screws are all basically the same. I like to buy them in bulk, and I'm using 1/8 inch rubber washers. Okay, so I'm assuming that this person's going to be right-handed. I believe he's right-handed, and I'm just going to put it on one of the sides. Alright, just simply like that. It's no big deal. It's not really that hard to do. You just have to be a little bit cognizant of where all the holes and everything fits and that kind of thing. Alright. You can put them on either side. I tend not to get too crazy with it. I just want to make sure that the knife fits. Alright, once you put the first one in, all the other ones kind of fit. Again, like I said, if you wanted a different strapping option, you can do that. Alright, I like to make sure that they're kind of seated where I want them. And again, guys, if you wanted different colors, that's fine. I have different colors available. Different options. Now this sheath is probably going to be a little bit bigger than normal, just because I was going to do a little bit something different with this sheath. I'm going to add a little bit of 550 cord to it. Also because the handle is larger than normal. Oh, there it is. Alright, so connects onto your belt like that, and then we have, there you go. Alright, so kind of heavy duty, Big Daddy, no rattling. Alright, we don't want any kind of rattling. It's just a friction fit, that's all it is. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of 550 cord to the bottom right here. So if this person wants to wear it as a leg strap or use it in a survival situation, this is 10 feet of 7-strand 550 cord. I picked black because that's kind of the motif, that's kind of what everything else is going with, so black and gray, I'll use that. If you had OD, I'll do OD, that kind of thing. Also, it doesn't hurt to have a little 550 cord if you wanted to latch it back here as well. That's just a little add-on, no big deal. If you guys want that, I'll add on 10 feet of 550 cord, or you can do it yourself. A little bit, like I said, the paddle's just a little, the Kydex is a little bit bigger than the original, as you can see here, only because of that. Alright, only because of that. Alright, so it's not an option, I'm just going to leave it like that. The other thing is the drainage hole. Alright, you can see right here there's a little bit of gray. If I'm making a knife that's supposed to be used for outdoors, and I do a very good job here and I seal it up the way it's supposed to, then you could fill this up like a container of water. And the problem with that is that when rain and water and debris get in there, there's nowhere to go. So you either drill a hole at the bottom to let all the water come out, or you can add like another piece, like I've seen on holsters where they have like a drip hole. So that's all that is just for water to come out. Alright, so very stout, robust knife, very heavy duty, not going anywhere. Really great product. So if you guys are interested in this knife, please go to threeriverblades.com. Check out all the other knives. I have other knives, not just this big one. Check out all the other knives I have up there. Please like, subscribe, add comments down below. All that good stuff helps the channel. And as always, be safe.